Twisted Travelers Podcast, your weekly dose of theme park news and entertainment. And now, here to talk all things coasters, theme parks, and even more, here are your hosts, Jack Lathrop and Chris Jones.
Hey everybody, welcome back to this week's episode of the Twisted Travelers Podcast. My name is Jack, and as always, I'm sitting here with Chris. How's it going?
It is going fantastic. I think most of you saw it, but I had a pretty good weekend. It wrote a little something that we're going to talk about later. So
He did forget to take pictures, though, and I'm not mad at all.
Okay, well, I'll explain why that also later. But yeah, that did happen.
There better be. I'm looking forward to that part of this. But anyways, yeah. So first off, real quick at the top of the show, we got to shout out our patrons.
Yeah. So first, Bryant from Coaster 365. Also, Graham, Grant, Jaden. So shout out to all of them. Thank you, our patrons. You guys can join our Patreon as well. Down in the description is the link. We appreciate it if you do. Obviously, you are not obligated. You don't have to. But all the money goes to the show, and we appreciate the love.
Yes, y'all make the show happen, paying for the podcast hosting software and then the eventual website and the eventual new mic for Chris, because that's our goal. So,
yeah, that will happen.
Now, okay, for once, I'm looking at our, so we have show notes every week. That's how we kind of keep ourselves on track, This is the longest weekly news we've had in a hot minute.
And even then, none of it is like huge, except for probably 2 things on here.
I mean, nothing on here is huge. Well, okay, there's one thing on here that's big.
And then there's a decent size thing. But yeah. Okay, let's hop into it then. So, first, coming from CGA, California's Great America, South Bay Shores has progressed nicely. Got a little update from that. It's looking good.
Yeah, I think Ace did a construction tour with them the other day. It looks really good. I remember seeing it in 2019 in person. It was just a pile of dirt, so it has to look better than it did back then. I really kind of am looking forward to going back to CGA and doing their water park, because CGA is one of those parks, once you've ridden everything, outside of Railblazer, Gold Striker, and maybe Flight Deck, there's really not much. Oh, sorry, and Demon. I'd probably take Demon over Flight Deck, to be honest, but outside of those 3 or 4...
Don't you dare disrespect Patriot, the greatest coaster of all time.
Sure.
Yes, you know it.
Bow
to Patriot.
I will not bow to that ride until it gives me back all the pain and suffering. Anyway, I'm looking forward to seeing that water park complete, because I'll probably spend some time in it. So,
I have not been to CGA. Can't really compare how it was before, but hey, water park renovations, they're always nice. Like, it's just a little added touch. That's good. You'd love to see it. All right.
This wasn't like a renovation. This was like a full-on water park. So.
Oh, yeah, I know. This was a big one. Like, it's not going to be a coaster, because people would freak if it was a coaster, but still, nice little.
Y'all will get your hyper eventually, and by eventually,
probably
I
not.
mean never.
Yeah, no, you're not. Next up
is the one that's been very entertaining to watch over the last 24, 48 hours. And no, it's only been 24 hours. Yesterday, Sunday, May 2nd, Silver Dollar City just dropped a thing. It's like, big news tomorrow, 10 a.m. And everyone's like, oh my gosh, it's the new Gerstlauer. It's a new roller coaster. Oh my gosh. People, no.
They weren't going to just announce the day before that, hey, we have an announcement tomorrow, and then have a record-breaking coaster.
I know, because that's the type of thing you send out media kits for, and you invite the press to come see the launch. Yeah, no. So,
yeah.
But the best part about it is, so they're getting the Harlem Globetrotters are coming and doing a show at Silver Dollar City. The one thing I haven't seen anyone mention, Chris, do you know who owns the Harlem Globetrotters?
I'm gonna guess Hershend.
Ding, ding, ding.
So Dollywood will have the Harlem Globetrotters at some point.
They've already had the Harlem Globetrotters. That was
Again.
2013 or 14. Yeah. I was like, this is the least surprising thing ever. Hold on. I want to fact check myself. Hold on. Harlem Globetrotters. Yep. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Hold on, where is it? Yep, where is it? I know it's on here. Yep, Hershey Family Entertainment. Mm-hmm. Yep.
I did not know that, but that makes this a lot less surprising. I mean, it wasn't that big of a deal in the first place, but that's happening.
It was one of those weird things. I was just perusing Hershey's website one day, and it was like, oh, we own this and this and this. Oh, and we own the Harlem Globetrotters. I was like, okay, well, that's interesting. Yeah. I will say it's been a while since I've only seen the Globetrotters once. I would love for them to come back to Dollywood so I can see them again.
I have not seen them. But hey, good for Silver Dollar City. Good new entertainment. All right. Next up, from Kings Island, Racer is getting a new decal.
Oh, my Lord. It's getting a new decal.
This is better than Orion.
Oh, my gosh. I think my life just changed.
I think so.
Anyway, Jersey Devil trains are now on track.
Yeah, Jersey Devil trains are on track. This gives us both hope that it will open in June, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
The trains do look really good. I think the last couple of weeks, Great Adventure's been doing a really good job posting weekly updates on it, which
they have.
I really appreciate. And the last 2 weeks have been really good because the ride's track is complete. They're getting close. The
chain's in, I'm pretty sure.
Chain's in. There's a train on. It can't be too long, folks.
Yeah, it'll start testing very soon, I'm sure.
Yep.
All right.
Oh, this next, I think I'll take. Yeah, this next one, something I probably am way too excited about. Thunderhawk at Michigan's Adventure, a ride I grew up hating and then eventually rode. It used to have McDonald's colors. I remember when it opened, it was red and yellow, and it looked like someone dropped a glorified McDonald's on the north side of Michigan's Adventure. Gone are those days. Hallelujah, amen. They are repainting Thunderhawk. It's going to have a reddish track, so kind of close to what it was already. But the supports are now going to be this really dark brown, and it looks so much better, and it fits so much better with the Thunderhawk's theme. The one thing we don't know is if they're changing the color of the trains. The trains were purple. I think purple would look fine, but I also could see them changing the color of the trains, and I wouldn't complain.
It does look very, very good. One of the best SLC color schemes probably now.
The only thing that's going to be a pain or not as cool now is with those darker colors. Used to on the pond, it was really cool because the ride if it was really still that day, you got a perfect reflection of the ride. Now with the darker colors, it won't do that as well, but I can't complain too much because it looked like garbage. Yeah, I saw it in person. It was literally tan. The entire thing was tan.
It definitely looks actually really good now. Cedar Fair did a thing at Michigan's Adventure. That's the big takeaway, and it's a good
put
thing.
In a bench. They painted a ride, y'all. It's happening, and they did a kiddie area. Don't forget the kiddie area. Things are coming. This is the most stuff that's happened at Michigan. There's more stuff that happened at Michigan's Adventure in the 2020 to 2021 off season, or I guess 2019 to 21 off season, than there has since 1998 to 2019. That is the level of stuff that is happening.
Good sign, I guess. Hey, Michigan people will take it, of course.
Oh, I know my cousins are going to be. I'm going to walk in there with them in July, and they're going to be like, I thought it was a different color, and maybe it was. Hallelujah, they painted it.
Yeah, it looks very good. But all right. Moving on, we're getting another used Schwarzkopf in the U.S. Some park, I believe in Texas it was, right?
Yes, it was.
Yeah,
in Texas.
It's getting a Schwarzkopf Wildcat.
And it's the 45-meter clone, which apparently is like rare.
I did not know that, but yeah, that's happening. More credits for Texas people. That's like the second credit in 2 weeks that they're adding. But yeah, good to see. Good to see. Schwarzkopf should be kept alive, even if it's just a Wildcat, which nobody really talks about those. But yeah, congratulations, Texas enthusiast.
You get a +1. Congratulations. And
Good
the big one this week is Massachusetts is allowing their theme parks to reopen. But what day is
June 14th, I believe.
Yes, that day they are reopening rides. I'm gonna hold on. That's Six Flags New England. I'm gonna fact check us.
Or not June, May 14th, right? Yeah.
I think it's May. You said June. No, hold on. Just gonna look. Hold on. May 14th for pass holders, 15th to the general public.
Yeah. I know Brian's happy. There
yes,
goes
Brian
our mention for the week. But...
I know. Did you see what I referred to him as in the questions?
Oh no, did I mess it up? Whoops. Well, yeah. Good for you, Brian. You already know that I'm trying to be there later this year. Hopefully I'll see you.
Yep. So yeah. Okay. That's news this week. We usually don't do this, but I have to give a shout out to this guy on Reddit. His username is Rack Hudson. And he did a post called Things You Can Do Instead of Going to Nickelodeon Universe this Saturday. And so
Excellently written.
Yeah, I must sum this up. So to go to Nickelodeon Universe for the entire day, you would have to buy 3 4-hour time slots, which are $85, $85, and $75, which is $245 plus tax for one day at a park that has only gotten mediocre reviews. And then it gets crazy. A single day park hopper at Disney World is cheaper. A King season pass to Hershey is cheaper. A Diamond Elite membership for a year is cheaper. A SeaWorld Platinum pass is only like $10 more. A Cedar Fair Platinum pass is cheaper. A Dollywood Gold pass is... you're beginning to see my point. Why does it cost so much to go to that dang park?
Yeah, they got to figure it out, I think.
I'm going to be honest. I have no intentions of going until I figure this. I'm not paying $85 for a couple of clones, and apparently one of the clones isn't that great. One of them never works, and it's in my least favorite state. Sorry, Miss Hirsch.
Yeah, they should change something. I don't know if they're just not making money, or if they're being greedy, or what. But it's just not a good look.
No.
That's about it. That's all you gotta say. It's just not a good look. They need to figure it out. But yeah, shout out to Rack Hudson.
Yeah,
that's one of your best posts.
I laughed my head off.
Yeah, that's
when
a good one.
That. Okay, there is the randomness for the week. Next up is our segment we do every week. We're on Schwarzkopf right now. It's Ride of the Week. So, last week we did Mindbender at Six Flags Over Georgia. And this week we're choosing between Shockwave at Over Texas, New Revolution at Six Flags Magic Mountain, and Scorpion at Busch Gardens Tampa.
All right, I have the wheel ready. Are we spinning?
I think we're spinning.
All right, the wheel is spinning. Scorpion.
Okay. You've ridden this a lot more than me, so you start.
It is better than Tigers.
Amen to that. That's all you gotta say.
Scorpion is one of those just classic family-size, small, single-loop Schwarzkopfs. It's basically an infinite helix after, and it's good. It has the lap bars. It's obviously incredibly forceful, just like basically all Schwarzkopfs. And yeah, it is a really, really, really good filler coaster for the park. It gives them a classic, but also a family coaster. I
I would.
I really enjoy the ride. It just gets long lines because it's always on one train, but that's okay. I mean, it's a family ride. You wouldn't expect them to run it that on
I
two.
mean, it's a family ride, just like Cheetah Hunt's a family ride.
Yeah, the thing packs a punch for sure. I know you and your dad enjoyed it more than you were expecting to, and if it doesn't have a long line, I'll ride it whenever I'm there. But yeah, I'm a fan of Scorpion, definitely 100%.
Yeah, so we only rode it once. I don't even remember where we rode it, but it's a shore scoff. It doesn't matter. You're gonna feel the G's.
Mm,
It's a fun. I don't. I. It's a fun roller coaster. I would definitely ride it when I went back, especially over riding Tigress again. Um, it's very pretty.
mm-hmm,
It is very compact. Like
mm-hmm.
there are kiddie coasters that would take up more room than that. Looking at you, Magic Mountain. Um, yeah, it's a really fun ride. It's short. If you said it when my dad and I rode it for the first time, we were like, "Oh, this was really good." Short scoffs are those rides for me that's always like I'm not expecting much. Then I ride them, I'm like, "Yep, this is a lot better than I expected it to be." And that's pretty much the way it is for every single short scoff. Scorpion is no exception. That's pretty much it.
I feel like Schwarzkopfs are kind of like the overlooked classics because you have PTC and CCI, and then when it comes to steels, Arrow is always the one that's looked at. But that's probably just because there's not as many Schwarzkopfs. But I mean, they're so good. Yeah, Scorpion, big fan. It also got repainted recently, so that's pretty cool. Very intense ride, and I think that does it for Ride of the Week. So next week, we will have either Shockwave at Six Flags Over Texas or New Revolution at Six Flags Magic Mountain.
Which means you get to listen to only one of us ramble.
That's
Yay!
right. All right. Okay, I think it's time for some listener questions, the part that you guys care about, as always. Uh, quick plug, if you want to give us questions or topics, join the Discord. Link is in the description. Hop on over. We're always asking for questions every single week, and we try to answer as many as we can. So
As long as I don't accidentally answer them, because I'm like, "Ooh, that's a good question." Oh crap! That we were gonna supposed to. Yep, I have a habit of
it
answering
happens
the
from time to time.
questions ahead of time. I'm sorry.
I've almost done it a couple times, but I think I've been able to hold myself back every time.
I was just sitting there. So the first question, the first question we have is what will happen first? Chris beats Jack at golf, and an actual game of golf, like where we go on a course and play 18 or 9 holes, or I beat Chris at basketball. And this was not the original question. The original question, this is from He Who Must Not Be Named, also known as Bryant, is what happens first? Chris beats me at bowling, or I beat Chris at basketball. The answer is the same for both of them. Chris will beat me at whatever sport I play before I beat him at basketball because he is that good at basketball and I am that bad at basketball.
Yeah, I was gonna let you answer first anyway because I didn't want to answer it, but I agree. uh, I mean, you're fine. You know, you're fine at basketball.
I can hold my weight against STEM kids, which is decent. When I start playing against you, the last time we played basketball, I was like passing out on my driveway. You were just running circles around me.
I had that one fadeaway spot that I didn't miss from. I
I
don't think
had
I
I
missed
was
all day from
I
there.
was we had a pile of dirt in our yard or in our driveway the other day, and I was sweeping that corner out, and I just stood there and I was like, I just looked at that. I was like, yep, there's no way I could ever make this shot.
I
um,
just caught fire from there. That went well for me. That one fadeaway from behind the bucket.
yeah. So I will probably never beat Chris at basketball. The thing about golf and bowling for me, golf especially, is I'm such a weekend golfer. I have days where I'm really good, like I can maybe shoot just a tad bit of, or below par or above par, however you want to look at it. I'm usually probably in the 45 range on a 9, which is not bad for someone who only plays like twice a month. But I have days where I shoot like 70 on a set of 9, which is not good. And then bowling, I had this evident today because I sent Chris pictures while I was bowling. I had one game where I bowled an 80, which is absolute garbage. And then, so what do you think? What do you think you could max out? Like, what do you think the highest bowling
Max
score?
in
Like,
bowling?
if I took you right now and said bowl, what do you think you'd get?
Well, right now, I don't know. Like if you took me today and we played 3 games, I would progressively get better because I mean that's the way it's always been for bowling. I don't do it often, but if we play a couple games, I'll get
Okay, so
decent by the
what's
last
your
one.
game 3 score gonna be?
Probably like 150.
Okay, yeah. If I'm on a good day, you're screwed.
Yeah,
Because a good day, I
but if you
average.
bowl an 80, then I think I'm
If I
gonna
bowl,
win.
now, to be fair,
To be fair,
yep. I need a new ball because my current one is too light and I'm overthrowing it, which is yeah. And then the other thing is where I bowled today, they don't know how to oil the darn lanes.
well, that's a shame.
I was
Yeah,
too lazy
I
to drive the
think
other 10 minutes to get to the place it actually does.
I
So
think I would have a better chance at beating you at bowling than I would golf because I've only golfed once. Bowling is something that I
yeah.
think most people have done multiple times.
The
Uh,
thing about bowling, though, especially if you were to like right now, you probably could have beat me multiple times today because I was just not having a good day. When I'm in the middle of my season and I'm bowling 13, 14 games a week,
then
bowling
I'll
two,
probably
yeah,
yeah. I
getting close
understand.
to 200 every game.
Hmm.
I made one miss. My last game, I bowled a 192. If I had hit one more pin in the frame before, it would have been a 220.
Well, I think that does it for this question. Shout out
Okay,
Brian. He always has very good questions. I
sorry.
really like
This
this
was
one. This
this
was a fun one.
question came up today, and I was like, okay, this is actually just a really
This
good
is
and
a good one.
funny
Thanks, Brian.
question.
Yeah.
So
All right. Our next question is from oh gosh, man, I always forget how to pronounce it. Mikhail, I think. Okay, now that VelociCoaster is all but here, what do you realistically see Universal doing next for either Island Studios or the resort in general? Do you think we will see anything at all before Epic Universe? In my opinion, other than festivals and stuff, no. I'm pretty sure they're going to just put as much effort as they can into getting Epic Universe done, and then we'll see some stuff, probably at Islands. Maybe just like one quick rework of a ride at Universal, like Simpsons or something. But yeah, that's my thoughts. My guess is they want to get that done quick because it's already a project that's supposed to take a really, really long time, and it's obviously has a lot of planning going into it. So I think they would want to put all their attention towards that.
yeah, okay, this is another really good question. Because I see both sides of it. Because I agree. Like we know, Epic Universe is a 2024-2025 project at this point. That's still 4 years away. Which for an Orlando park, especially of the Universal or Disney caliber, to not at least add something to one of their already operating parks, that's like eternity for one of these parks. I feel like. Okay, go back and tell me the last time Disney did not open a ride in one of their parks, excluding 2020 or actually no, excluding 2021. Go back and tell me a year that Disney has not opened a single ride across all of their parks in
Let me
Florida.
think. I'm gonna have to look.
Uh-huh.
Um. I know there have been times where it's been a couple years where they have not added stuff. Let's see. Not then.
This is the portion of the podcast where we do research live on the air.
Yep, you're welcome.
While he's looking that up, basically my point, if we're okay for a non-Universal or Disney park, I can see going 3 or 4 years without a major investment. That makes sense. But for one of these parks, especially in a post-pandemic world where everyone is ready for that escape, I think it makes sense to continue adding something. Now, am I saying we're going to see another VelociCoaster? at Islands or Studios? No, but do I think we're going to see some sort of ride at one of the parks that's not just an enhancement? Yes. I would expect something dark ride esque. Uh, Probably an answer to Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railroad because that's the new dark ride in town. I could see them going for something like that. The real question is, where do you put it? We know they're trying to make Islands of the thrill park and Studios the park for everyone, so probably Studios. Islands already has the better dark rides, anyways.
Okay. This is what I'm thinking. It is such a big project, and I know there have been times where Universal has gone for multiple years without adding something. I think if they do add anything in the time before Epic Universe opens, it will be a pretty basic dark ride. Something like the Secret Life of Pets one that just opened in Hollywood. That
Yeah,
would probably take like Simpsons spot or something.
Mm-hmm.
That's the most I could see, really.
Yeah, again, I'm not expecting a multi-million-dollar roller coaster because they just built one and it's probably going to be their headliner for
But
a
Flying Dino
long
win.
time. But that's okay. So that's the next question I've got: is how many days left does Seussland have?
Oh, I think it'll stay. I don't think they're gonna care enough to retheme a whole kids area because that's a pretty large area with like 4 or 5 rides.
Fair. It's when you look at the big things though, when you start looking at the Islands of Adventure, seeing where they're going to expand because we know they want. I mean, they're pouring money into, or they've been
Okay.
pouring money into that park. So where do
Islands.
they expand?
If Islands is gonna do anything, it's probably going to be like Lost Continent complete redo, and they're not going to put in the money to make a whole new land when they're working on Epic Universe already, so that's going to wait. But that's going to come someday, I'm sure, because Sinbad the show has been closed for like a year already and is not going to reopen. Poseidon's Fury has been closed since they reopened from COVID for staffing reasons. So right now, when COVID is over, if they do reopen Poseidon's Fury, all that is there is a walk-through attraction and a restaurant. Obviously, that's going to change sometime. The bigger thing, as far as lands that could be redone, is over in Studios, Kid Zone. Like, what kid nowadays knows Feifel, right?
Fair.
It's like over there you have Feifel, Barney, and Curious George. Barney and Curious George are still popular, but I get like it'll happen eventually where that's going to be redone, I'm sure, to a different kids theme. It'll happen.
Well, and the other thing is, I know they've got Rip Ride Rocket and they've got Gringotts, but they really don't. Neither of those rides I would consider like high. Okay, Rip Ride Rocket is Rip Ride Rocket. It does what it does. It's okay. Gringotts is all about the immersion. It doesn't really do much as a roller coaster. It's more of a dark ride. So I guess my other comment is like, is Studios itself ever gonna get an actual roller coaster that's
Other than Mummy.
Yeah, other than Mummy, because Mummy is their headlining roller coaster right now. Are they going to get something Hulk or VelociCoaster like?
I don't see it. No, I don't see it.
Because that's the thing right now.
Well,
here's the dilemma.
Now you got me going wild.
Here's the dilemma I have right now when I come back for VelociCoaster this fall. I know for sure, like, Islands is a done deal. I will do Islands like multiple days, but for Studios, the only two rides that really make me want to go back to Studios are Gringotts and Mummy, and I just don't think that's not enough for me to justify adding the park hopper. I would be just fine getting a 2-day tickets to Islands of Adventure and just doing Islands of Adventure because the rides I care about are in Islands of Adventure.
If Studios ever did add a decent sized coaster other than Mummy or like Rip Ride Rocket, it'll be a while, I'm sure. And the only spot that I could really see that happening is if they tore out the whole stadium for Fear Factor, because that only operates certain parts of the year anyway, because has shows for Halloween Horror Nights, or they use it for other stuff from time to time. So that's the only spot that I could see a
That,
coaster
or they're
going.
gonna
But
have
that would be a while.
that, or they're gonna have to sacrifice some of this precious backstage area they've got
No,
over by Men
they're
in
not gonna do it.
Black, or yeah. So that's what it would take.
I mean,
But
I have no
again,
problems with Rip Ride Rocket getting ripped out and replaced with a B&M like it was supposed to be, but that won't happen either.
no, that won't. Well, and let's be honest. Everyone we know that's ridden Hollywood Dream says it's one of the most mediocre B&Ms ever because it has no airtime.
Well, yeah, I mean, it wasn't really meant to be a hyper, really. It was just meant to be kind of what it is. Yeah. I don't think they intended for it to be some massive thing.
No, but still, it's like it's got airtime hills, but it gives no airtime. What was the point of the airtime hills?
Scenery and grace, I guess. Something like that.
I guess.
But yeah, that was a lot.
So again, this is one of the questions I saw it today. I was like, okay, I could go on a good tangent about this.
Shout out TDR. But yeah, shout out Mikkel as well. Thank you, sir. And our last question. Most dreaded coaster on your next trip? This is from Grant.
Well, this was the question that stumped us the most at the beginning when we were talking about beforehand. We're probably going to spend the least amount of time on it in the end. Chris called dibs on one, so I'll let him start.
Okay, looking over my trip, there's not really a whole lot. Actually, I don't think there's anything that I'm dreading riding. So I'll just go with one that I'm kind of 50-50 on, and that's Batwing at Six Flags America, because on one hand, I've heard it's decent, and Firehawk was okay, but on the other hand, like, I'm scared it's going to be like Nighthawk, because riding Nighthawk again, no interest in that at all. So my hope is that it is as good as Firehawk was, and I think it will be. But there's still that little bit of like nerves. Like, is this gonna hurt me like really badly?
So yeah, I've just got to make a comment about Nighthawk because to remind everyone how much we hate it. If I'm in a park with you and you don't have the credits, because this is my witness to this, most of the times I'll ride the roller coaster with you, even if I already have the credit. If you said I don't have the Nighthawk credit, I'm gonna laugh and go ride Fury because I'm not putting myself through that.
Or take their pictures. They just
no. I'm not wasting hard drive space on that ride. I'm going to ride Fury.
Understandable. It's that bad. Okay, if you haven't been to Carowinds, maybe consider not even getting the credit. It's really terrible.
It's terrible.
I mean, if you want to ride it once for the credit, hey, makes complete sense. But it's one of the few rides where it might not be worth it.
It is. Let's see. There are maybe 3 rides that immediately popped to mind. I was like, was that worth it? Even.
That's one of
them. That Nighthawk is one of them. The other 2 are Canada's Wonderland.
Don't even need to be named. We know which ones.
Don't even need to name them. You know which 2 they are. So, okay, I have kind of 2. Again, I'm not really dreading roller coasters. My dad and I have always said to each other, it's like any day at a park is better than the day at work or at school. So why would you dread riding a roller coaster? Unless it's Nighthawk.
Unless you're at American Dream. Because you just spent like $100 and something, $200.
I don't think I would dread getting the roller coasters. I would just have mega buyer's remorse. I'd be like, I cannot believe I just spent $90-something for a crappy Gerstlauer and a broken Intamin. Anyway, most dread coaster. So the 2 that immediately popped to mind, I was gonna say Brentwing, but someone stole it.
I claimed it first. Not my problem.
Tempesto. Because, man, do those rides suck. And not because it's probably not because I'm like dreading riding it, because I'm dreading having to admit I was wrong. El Toro. So.
Okay. Then in that case, and we're doing rides that we've ridden. I'll throw it out there in Vertigo because it's terrible.
Oh yes, in Vertigo.
Because it's terrible.
I wasn't gonna mention that one.
It is not horrible. It's terrible. It's no good. It's very bad.
Chris, you're wrong. It's not.
It's terrible. Vertigo is terrible. It's horrible. Okay, But yeah, that was listener
It's not.
questions. It's terrible.
It's
But
not.
it is. Thank you guys, as always, once again. Link in description. Join the Discord. Give us questions. We appreciate it. We'll answer them, of course. But yeah, that was listener questions. Shout out to everybody who gave them to me.
Yep. So
Okay.
this next part, I'm gonna shut up for a bit and let someone ramble about what they got to do yesterday, or when y'all listen to this on Sunday, that I'm not jealous at all about.
Okay. Let's do it. So, to preface, do not take what I say at all as reliable here, because I 1 billion% need to re-ride. It was really a blur to me. Because I was very overwhelmed. I had waited this long to ride this thing, and a lot happens. Like, there is a lot that goes down with this ride that I do not remember. So I'm gonna try my best, but I am riding on Wednesday,
The day this
and
comes out.
yes, if my opinion changes, I will mention it in next episode and talk about it. But yeah, so if you have been living under a rock, VelociCoaster is now allowing pass holders the chance to ride, which is sick. And I was able to ride one time on Sunday, the day that they first started. So, okay, let's get through the pictures real quick. The reason I didn't have pictures is because the queue was already completely full. I walked through there and I was not aware that after you ride, you could not go back in the plaza. So I got straight in line. Obviously, I want to ride the thing. I went through the queue, rode it, but then you have to exit through the Discovery Center. You don't get to go back into the plaza. So I never had the opportunity to take pictures unless I would have taken the time before the ride, which I'm going to do Wednesday. I got you now, okay? But yeah, that's why I didn't take pictures. So we'll go into the queue. The queue, in my opinion, is pretty mid tier for Universal standards. It's good. It's like room, and there's cool stuff in the room. And then next is just a very basic hallway or a room with switchbacks where there's not a whole lot. And then it's cool room, and then it's basic room. Then it's cool room, and it's basic room. So it kind of switches back and forth. It's not 100% elaborately themed in every spot, right? But yeah, the first room, you have that massive statue with the Velociraptors, which looks amazing. The lighting is great and everything. That's just a huge room of switchbacks. The next room, the next like cool themed room is the one where you have the Velociraptor animatronics, which are amazing. And I like one of the things that I love the most about them, just this tiny added touch, is that if you're standing in front of it and the thing snorts, it blows air out of the nostrils. I found that really cool. But yeah, that room is super sick. And then the other two rooms that come to mind is a room where they have little relics and stuff, basically like to go with velociraptors. And the coolest thing in that room is they have a mini model of the front car to the train. And I wanted to steal it really badly, but I didn't know how, so I didn't. But yeah, and the last room, before you like that's connected to the station, is massive video screen on one side where you have Jack. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's Chris Pratt that's in the movie.
Well, all the people that were in, I've seen all the spoilers, so I know what's happening. All of the people, was it the doctor or was it the guy that's like, this is a bad idea?
The guy that's this is a bad idea.
Okay, that's Chris Pratt. Yes.
Yeah. So you've got a lady who's just kind of like an interviewer, and then Chris Pratt, and basically Chris Pratt is like, "This is so dumb. These raptors are dangerous, and you decided to build a roller coaster in it, and now I'm having to wrangle these raptors. Everybody who's in line, just leave, please. This is a bad idea." Basically, that's the whole theme, and I love that that's the theme. They didn't go with an elaborate storyline. They literally said, "We built a roller coaster in Jurassic World in the raptor paddock, and that's what you're riding." That's it. That's the theme. And I love that, honestly. And then you get to the station where it's basic load unload, but on the other side, and I don't think anybody's gotten pictures of this because you're not allowed to have your phone over there. On the other side of the station, on the unload side, it is just massive window looking out at all of the rock work in the paddock in the first half, and you can see the whole thing. It is such a cool view. But yeah, okay, ride itself. The trains look amazing. They are super, super comfy. I love this restraint system. This was my first experience with Intamin's new gen restraints, and they are just amazing. It's awesome. The first launch is themed. You get in, and on both sides, there is velociraptors in cages next to you, and they take off, and then you follow shortly behind. And that first launch, now remember, I said I need to ride again. I thought the first launch was better than the second one. I don't remember the second launch super, super well, which is why I'm so excited for Wednesday. But that first launch is very forceful. Like, it is so good. You start off a little slow, and then it just, wow, kicks it. It has the roar and everything. You roll back a little bit before you launch too, so you roll back and then just take off. It is so good. That first inversion, crazy whip, you go through it slow, and you get whipped to the side, and then you drop back down into the rockwork, and you start off slower, so you lean forward, and then it just whips you back and gives you a ton of air. You get an awesome near miss with some of the rockwork on the way back down, and then you go into the second element, that weird sideways dive loop thing that just keeps curving. That is so whippy. That's one of the best moments of the ride. And then you have a lot of very good floater and good whip, basically the rest of the way through, with just amazing near misses. Which, once again, I need to rewrite this because I don't remember a lot of the near misses as well, because, I mean, I was kind of crying. Maybe. But yeah, like, the first half was so good. I don't remember a lot of it, but I do remember getting just thrown everywhere. This ride is not nearly as crazy with airtime as it is with laterals. The laterals on this thing are some of the best you will get. Like, it flips you every which way. And then you go and hit the second launch, which is probably the part that I'm most excited for on Wednesday because I don't remember it that well. And you get to the top hat. I was in row 10. There's 12 rows. And the airtime down the top hat was good. It was not some heavenly ejector getting thrown from your seat thing. You lifted up and then you went back down, and it wasn't a whole lot. So, once again, I need to rewrite for that as well. But the rest of the second half is fantastic. You have the stall where you haul through the stall, so you don't really get a ton of hang time, but you whip into it and you whip out of it. You go down by the water. You go into the like wave turn, which that throws you pretty strongly. And then probably either my favorite or my second favorite moment of the ride, that weird off-axis outer banked airtime thing. It just does whatever it wants with you. You get thrown every which way throughout that. You finish the rest of the helix, which is good. You go into that little airtime pop, which gives you some solid floater. And then the element that everybody's talking about, and yes, it 1000% lives up to the hype, is that like heartline roll over the water. That man, it is like, think Kumba's Hill Roll, but with a lap bar. That is literally the level it is at, and you can really, really sense how close you are to the water as you go through that thing. It is an experience, that one element. It flips you everywhere. And then you just hop up into the brake one where you get some decent floater and you hit the brakes, and that's it. The ride is so freaking good, and there's still parts of it that I need to go back and really think about and reride. I can see it going up in my rankings, which, as of right now, I'm not going to spoil where it is right now, but yes, it is top 10. I can see it going up. I could also see it going down because it did not have a ton of crazy positives or airtime or anything, but just the whip. See, because I wasn't expecting as much whip from that thing, but it really made up for everything that it did lack. in that. So it's really weird feeling right now for me after riding it. It's like, yeah, it was really good, not really how I expected it to be, and I need to rewrite it with, kind of, now that I've gotten to ride, kind of know what to expect. But oh my gosh, this thing is special. It 1000% lives up to the hype in my eyes. People who said it was going to have bad pacing are completely wrong. Like it does really fly, other than that first element, and even then, with the first element going through slower, it helps that element, in my opinion, because you get the whip, and then you get such a unique feeling dropping down and a really close near miss. So people, you need to go ride this thing. It is such a good ride. It is. Okay, Bryant, this is the part you're waiting for. It's better than Maverick. It is better than Maverick, in my opinion. It Come ride it when it opens. It's so good. And I know Jack wants to be there. I will have another ride on Wednesday where I will definitely let you guys know if anything changed. But man, good job, Universal. This is a special ride.
Yep. Okay, so I've heard most of that already. I am going to read a couple of text messages I got from people that are not named Chris. Let's see. From our lovely friend Scott Schaefer at Upstop Media, I asked him how the ride was, and he said absolutely nuts. Did things I didn't think it was going to do, which is what I've been hearing a lot.
What did I just say? The thing, nobody expected this to be a ride based on laterals and whip, I feel like, and it's probably the best modern coaster for laterals and whip there is right now, in my opinion.
And then from his partner in crime, Sarah said, "Good Lord, it was amazing." I haven't heard what Taylor thinks of it yet, but I know what he thinks of it based off his Twitter. He loved it too. Literally everyone I know that's ridden it has said it's fantastic.
There has not been a person who said it disappointed them, I feel like.
No, I have not heard someone say it was bad yet. And if they do, I'm going to fight them and be like, you got to ride it, so shut up.
Man, just thinking about it gets me so excited for Wednesday. I cannot wait. It's so good. Oh, but yes, I did get to ride it. It's amazing. I know a lot of people were waiting for my review, and there you have it. I hope this helped with your expectations a little bit, because don't go in there expecting some super intense ride. In a way, it almost reminds me of Millennium Force and how it is built to be this massive thing that looks like it's going to be crazy intense, and then you get on it, and it's not really what you expected. Don't expect it to be crazy in the positives. Just so much laterals and whip, and the lap bars are perfect for it. It will, if you're expecting a super intense ride, it will disappoint you in that aspect, which it did a little bit for me, but it will make up for it completely in everything else it does.
Yeah, I need to ride this thing like immediately, like
Soon.
now. Why am I sitting at my desk in Tennessee?
Jack, it's not open yet, and you don't have a pass. That's why.
I don't care. I will buy a freaking pass.
It's too late to take the reservations.
I'll steal yours.
No! I need to ride again. But yeah, definitely come check this thing out when it opens. And also, another really quick thing to add, which people who are talking about how this thing's going to have 7 or 8 hour lines, I don't think so. Because the entire queue, including extended queue, was full for me, and I waited probably 40 minutes. And it was on 3 trains. So the operations are fantastic. They are really, really rolling these through. You're not going to have to wait a crazy long time, I don't think. It's going to be good when it opens.
Not jealous at all.
I know you're not.
Okay. Okay. Well, there's the VelociCoaster excitement you've all been waiting for. Oh yeah, you've all been waiting for that. I know you have. So with that, we will of course be talking about it. We'll probably end up talking about it a bit next week because Chris is gonna get to ride it again. But with that, that wraps up this week's episode of the podcast. I know it's not the longest episode we've ever released, but
that's not a bad thing. Change of pace.
Not a bad thing. We needed a break from these hour crazy episodes. So, that being said, make sure to follow us on social media. You can follow us on Twitter at Twisted Traveler, but the R at the end is a 1. Instagram at Twisted_Traveler. You can follow Chris at, I don't remember your handle, so you plug yourself.
At Twisted Travelers, Chris.
No that spaces, place.
No nothing, yeah.
And then you can follow me at Thrilling Moment on Twitter and Instagram for all of those glorious roller coaster photos and probably some hot takes.
Join the Discord, Patreon, listen to episodes you've missed. We appreciate all of you guys.
And we'll see you next week.
Thanks for listening to the Twisted Travelers Podcast.